Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your March monthly reading. This is Owlchemist Tarot, serving tarot straight up. So thank you so much for joining. I'm going to be pulling cards for the overall month, then what's going on in your main sectors of money, love, and career, focusing also on that communication zone, and then a card for each week of this month. So my readings are meant for your sun, moon, and rising. So if you have Sagittarius and the big three, then this message might resonate. I also recommend watching your sun, moon, and rising sign because then you have a holistic understanding of what's going on, roughly for this month. So I've already cleansed my cards offline and shuffled pretty aggressively, so I'm just gonna pull some cards. So okay, let me just get these in order. Overall energy, this is never the card I would love to see you start out with, but it's okay, we can work through it. 9 of Swords. Sagittarius, okay. Sag, as one of the fire signs, you will get in your head so much and you will stay there and you will get fixated. Sagittarius, I feel like this is, so a lot of the time you'll get bogged down in what people think, and then you overthink, and then you assume, and then this is 9 of Swords is really being trapped mentally on every scenario that could happen that probably hasn't happened, and you're thinking almost of the worst case situation. And what happens is the narrative that you create in your head is not necessarily what's happening in real life, but it certainly could manifest if you keep putting a lot of energy toward that. Also, the 9 of Swords is, for some of you, it is having a lot of weight mentally that you've been, that you've been up at night, you're not sleeping all that good. For many of you, this is that you have to have a relatively hard conversation with someone, and it's keeping you up at night to figure out, like, how do you say your truth? How do you explain what you've been thinking and feeling? And I would just tell you to do it, Sagittarius. I mean, I feel like the fire and brimstone that you're creating in your head is probably a lot far less worse than what you're thinking is going to happen. But this is creating stress and problem where there really isn't one, okay? And so you can navigate through this by just taking something literally at face value, step by step, taking it in bite-sized pieces so you don't feel overwhelmed, and just address it and confront your fear, okay? So in your money looks fabulous. You got the World card. Now, one thing that I will say, the World card is a major completion, and I feel like for a lot of you Sagittarius, one thing that keeps you up at night and you really do worry about is your standing in life and how far you've come and how far you've worked and what you've accomplished and what you've earned and your reputation. And I think when it comes down to it, you are, in the money wise, I think that you're in a good situation for retirement. I feel like you're really on the right track, or you're already getting there, close to. I think money looks good for the long term, and ultimately you're going to be in a situation where you have everything that you need. So it's not like you're going to go without, per se, okay? And I would just tell you not to, the more negativity you put on something, the more it has the potential to grow. So it's about really keeping a positive mindset. And for a lot of you, I do feel like this is a shift in a new life cycle, meaning that you are, so for example, maybe for some of you who are like in your 20s, you're getting to a point where you're like, okay, I've built enough in my 401k where I feel a bit more comfortable. And now, like, I'm in my 30s and I own a house, or I own property, or I have more assets and investments, and so on and so on. And now some of you who are a little bit more in past the golden years, you're at a point where you're like, look, I'm ready to retire, and I've had a good nest egg, and I feel comfortable and confident, and everything I have is paid off. And so I feel like there's a lot of, like, many of you are kind of entering into this next cycle because you've just made a major completion. And for some reason, I just want to say this before I move on, but compounding interest, Spirit keeps saying that, so that might be relevant to someone. Love, you got 7 of Wands. So for some of you, you are going to have to stand up for the relationship that you have, or stand up for you, the person who you want to be in a relationship with. I don't know if I said that right. So Seven of Wands is really taking a stand and fighting for what you want. So if you want to be in a relationship, you are going to have to sacrifice certain things. I'm not telling you that you have to throw your life away, but if you're single, if you have been putting so much focus on money and career, then you are going to have to probably look at how to prioritize your time and energy to actually make room for someone in your life that you potentially are going to be serious with. I don't necessarily see that, you know, if you're single, I don't necessarily see that you're, like, this might be the month that you're just going to be going out on tons of dates. I think that you're going to enter back into the dating pool slowly. But what I will tell you is that Sagittarius, go out and have some fun, have some adventure. Like, I would say go and meet people out in real life rather than just based on a computer, you know, or apps or things like that. But I do feel like you're going to have to put a line in the sand and with yourself to say, look, if I want something or if I want to be in a relationship, I'm going to have to actually make changes to make it happen. If you're in a relationship, you might have to fight for the relationship that you're in. Maybe the energy hasn't been good between you two, or lack of communication, or lack of passion or focus. There could be individuals, outside influences that are trying to, you know, make you feel one way about your partner. I would just tell you that you need to use your own guidance and make your own decision. And if you feel comfortable and you love the person that you're with, then screw what anyone else says, right? So you might have to really stand up for someone that you're in a relationship with, or stand up for the relationship itself. So I'm getting, like, Spirit keeps telling me, it's like when you're with your partner and like your in-laws are constantly nitpicking or making little comments or saying little things, or you're just like, enough. Don't say that about my wife or my husband or whoever, my girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Don't say that about them. I want to be in a relationship with them. It's my decision. Enough. Basta. So anyway, that might be something that's going on in your love zone. So in career, Queen of Cups, lovely energy. Queen of Cups, so I certainly see you, Sagittarius, and this is a really important thing for you. You have to have a creative outlet. Like, it doesn't, so if you're very left brain, Sagittarius, you need a creative outlet to kind of like release that, because you have so much passion and energy and creativity that you need to have some type of outlet. All the great ideas that you have in your head, you need to be able to put them out in the world, whether it's on paper or it's in writing or it's audio or vocal, whatever the case is, or creating something with your hands. You have to be able to have that outlet if you're not already in a creative type of job. Now, one thing I will say with the Queen of Cups, there can be a little bit of naive energy that it's like sometimes you hit a certain wall in your career or the company you're with, and that's probably as good as it's going to get. And sometimes the Queen of Cups can bring in that, like, false hope that it could, like, drastically change. And I don't, for instance, like, if you work for a very large corporation, the red tape that you experience and, like, sometimes the lack of creative freedom that you experience, that may not change necessarily, but you might experience small progression in that area, but it's not like it's going to change overnight where you just have like complete freedom. So there might be like a lack of, it's almost like a false sense of reality sometimes with that energy. So even though you might be in a really great position and you have creativity and you have some freedom, you may not be given ultimate freedom to do whatever you want. I hope that makes sense. In your communication zone, Page of Swords, this actually came out for, was it Virgo or Libra? I can't remember. But Page of Swords for communication, I feel like Sagittarius, if there's been something, and I'm saying this because that nine of Swords energy, I feel like there's something that you've been holding back on because you don't know how to deliver the message. I feel like you've been kind of waiting back in the weeds. Page of Swords is known as like the person who will stalk your social media and kind of like figure out everything that you're doing, but rather than just like straight up asking someone, hey, how are you? How's it been going? It's like you've been looking at their social media and you're like, never mind, I already know. Or you're too scared to ask, but you're like really focused on, what they're doing day in and day out. So I can't tell you if this is just professional or personal. It could be a mixture of both. But Sagittarius, I would just say buck up the courage to please say something, because I feel like the person who you're holding back is going to catch on at some point, and then you're going to be forced to do it. So just be courageous and say something. And then you never know how that conversation can take off. So like, just have faith in yourself that you can actually do this. It's not that scary. All right, first week. You got 10 of Pentacles for the first week, which is incredible. And guess what? It's right under that World card. So in the money zone, I really feel like in a lot of areas, especially your money and finance and like home, like stability, like things in your life, material things, that is very, 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 very stable. Sagittarius, I know that that's like a weight off your shoulders, and the 10 of Cups is fulfillment, it's happiness, it's really being at peace and having everything you need, comfort. So I do feel like walking into March, like you feel very, very confident on where you are financially, which is good because, obviously the economy can go any which way and we don't have a lot of control over that. So I do see that you're very happy walking into March and that things are really in place that makes you feel very stable. In the second week, you got Queen of Wands, which the fire energy, Queen of Wands in itself is such a creative, amazing, fiery, passionate energy. And it's right under that 7 of Wands. So I do feel like there's a couple messages coming out. Sagittarius, you are known for being a very social butterfly. The Queen of Wands is also an energy that is known for being kind of like the drama queen card, meaning that sometimes you can get yourself into pickles, Sagittarius, because you just do things on a whim, on passion, and how you feel. And, or it's because you get excited about something and you're just like, yes, to hell with the consequences. I do think that, with that 7 of Wands energy on top of this Queen of Wands, you're going to have to stand up for yourself and explain why you did what you do, or why you did what you did, or why you want to do something, because people are going to be taken back a little bit, or they're going to be like taken off guard. If this isn't a relationship, for some of you, you might be in a relationship with someone who is not your normal person or type, and family and friends or outside influences can be very concerned. So you might have to, you really have to stand up for yourself and say, this is what I want to do, and that's just it. This is not energy for the faint of heart. When the Queen of Wands wants something, that type of energy, there's nothing that's going to stop the Queen of Wands. Ever. He or she will get whatever they want. And it's like, now it's a challenge. So anyway, that could be going on in that second week. Also, with the Queen of Wands, you could be very passionate or exciting. You could be wanting to launch something. For a lot of you, it could be, they say vlogging or blogging. It's like it's like giving yourself a creative outlet. Like I said, that's really important for you, Sagittarius. So for some of you, it's like you're releasing those passions through some type of creative or artistic outlet. Okay. Third week, lovely energy, 2 of Cups, such amazing. It's right under that Queen of Cups too. So under that career zone. 2 of Cups, you can certainly be partnering with someone and vice versa. This is where I would tell you, just be very careful, Sagittarius. You are known for having the wandering eye. I hate saying that, but you do. The grass is greener where you water it, Sagittarius. So you could meet someone through a work function or at work that really catches your eye and you might start thinking like there's potential, and you may not be available. So just be very careful, Sagittarius. But also with this under the Queen of Cups, you can really meet some really like-minded people this week and the third week that, make you get excited about, potential business opportunities or, ventures, or that there's, exciting moments where you can get a lot of information from someone who really sparks your creativity, and there's a lot of chemistry, and there's, you're like-minded business individuals. And you just get excited that you're around that type of energy. So that is something too that could be going on. Fourth week, 8 of Wands. Things are going to start picking up for you, Sagittarius. This is fast forward movement. This is being catapulted forward. It's almost like, when you're pulling an arrow back and then all that tension and you just release it, and it's like a bullet out of a gun. So You're going to be going fast and furious this month, especially at that 4th week. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, it's right under that Page of Swords energy. So instead of, I know you've been doing a lot of watching, waiting, researching, and that's fine, rather than openly, directly communicating. But when you do start communicating and actually making those connections and being very thorough and putting a lot of effort behind that, things are going to start to take off. So that's why I'm telling you, don't hold yourself back, okay? Thank you, Sag, for watching. Please subscribe to this channel because it means the world to me. And if you would like, please follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I post there quite a bit and you can get more free insights. If you're interested in reading or the Owlchemist membership, all that stuff's in the description box. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next month.